J.D. Vance 10 Most Likely Questions. 1. Haitian immigrants in Springfield rumors. Senator Vance, you have promoted baseless claims that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, were abducting and eating pets. Despite local authorities confirming no such incidents occurred, you encouraged your followers to keep the cat memes flowing. How do you justify promoting baseless claims? And how can voters trust your judgment on immigration when such unverified claims are part of your public statements? Why? This directly addresses Vance's role in spreading misinformation, challenging his credibility and decision-making when it comes to serious policy matters like immigration. 2. Inflation and economic policy. During the Trump administration, inflation averaged 1.9%, below the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Under the Biden administration, inflation has averaged 5.2%, peaking at 9.1% in June 2022, though it has recently decreased to 2.5%. How will your administration handle inflation, and what would you do differently to avoid such spikes? Why? Inflation is a central concern for voters, and Vance needs to provide clear answers on how he will handle this economic issue differently from the current administration. 3. Foreign policy in the Middle East. With Israel's recent ground offensive in Lebanon and ongoing tensions in Gaza, what specific steps would you advocate to prevent further escalation in the Middle East and ensure U.S. interests are protected? Why? Given the current conflict in the Middle East, voters want to know how Vance plans to address international conflicts and protect U.S. interests abroad. 4. Abortion policy. You have previously expressed opposition to abortion, even in cases of rape or incest. How would your stance on abortion shape national policy, and how do you respond to concerns that your views may infringe on women's reproductive rights? Why? Abortion remains a key issue for many voters, and Vance's strong stance could alienate moderates, making this a crucial topic to clarify. 5. Hurricane Helene and disaster response. In light of the destruction caused by Hurricane Helene, what specific steps would your administration take to improve federal disaster response and address the growing threat of climate change? Why? Disaster preparedness and climate resilience are top priorities for many voters, especially after a major hurricane. 6. Ukraine and U.S. involvement. Given your skepticism about U.S. aid to Ukraine, how would you handle the ongoing conflict there while ensuring that American interests are protected and taxpayer funds are managed effectively? Why? Vance's stance on foreign aid and Ukraine is an important issue, and voters need to understand his approach to global conflict. 7. Economic inequality. How would your administration address the growing economic inequality in America, and what policies would you propose to ensure that wages keep pace with inflation? Why? Economic inequality is a pressing concern, and voters need to hear how Vance will balance economic growth with ensuring fair wages and opportunities. 8. Crime and police reform. With rising crime rates across the U.S., how would your administration balance tough on-crime policies with necessary police reforms? Why? Crime and policing are critical issues, and Vance needs to clarify how he will ensure both public safety and needed reforms. 9. Education and workforce development. How would your administration address the skills gap and improve education to prepare Americans for future economic challenges? Why? Education and workforce development are key to economic stability, and Vance's plan for these sectors is crucial. 10. Immigration and border security. What specific reforms would you propose to secure the border while ensuring that asylum seekers are treated humanely and immigration systems are efficient? Why? Immigration remains one of the most significant issues for Vance's campaign, and voters need a clear understanding of how he will balance security with humanitarian concerns. J.D. Vance 10 Most Dangerous Questions. 1. Baseless claims about Haitian immigrants and personal rumors. Senator Vance, you spread baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, eating pets. Despite local authorities confirming this was untrue, there were also baseless rumors on social media about personal stories from your past, such as a false claim involving a couch. How do you respond to concerns about your role in perpetuating baseless claims, and what is your stance on promoting rumors without demonstrated grounding in reality? Why? This question ties two major controversies together, challenging Vance's credibility and decision-making regarding the spread of baseless rumors. 2. Abortion policy and women's rights. You have expressed hardline views on abortion, even suggesting no exceptions for rape or incest. How do you respond to concerns that your policies infringe on women's rights and reproductive freedom? Why? Vance's position on abortion is a highly contentious issue, particularly with moderates and women voters. 3. Ukraine aid skepticism. You've expressed skepticism about continued U.S. aid to Ukraine. How would you ensure that your administration protects American interests and supports global democracy while managing defense spending? Why? Vance's views on foreign aid and military spending could be a liability if perceived as too isolationist. 4. Climate change and environmental policies. You've opposed strict climate change regulations in the past. How do you plan to address environmental concerns while maintaining economic growth? Why? Vance's environmental policies could alienate voters concerned about climate change and sustainability. 5. Misogynistic remarks and criticism of women. You've made derogatory remarks about crazy cat ladies and criticized individuals who choose not to have children. How do you reconcile these statements with a commitment to representing all Americans, including women and those with different life choices? Why? These remarks could harm Vance's appeal among women and voters who feel marginalized by his rhetoric. 6. Economic policy and tax cuts for the wealthy. You've supported significant tax cuts for the wealthy. How would you address the growing economic inequality in America while ensuring that lower and middle-income Americans benefit? Why? Vance's economic policies may be seen as favoring the wealthy, which could alienate working-class voters. 7. Healthcare and Medicare reform. You've advocated for reducing federal spending on programs like Medicare. How would you ensure that seniors and vulnerable populations maintain access to essential healthcare services? Why? Medicare is a politically sensitive issue, and any attack on social safety nets could be a major vulnerability. 8. Criticism of the COVID-19 response. You've criticized federal COVID-19 measures, including mask mandates and lockdowns. How would your administration handle future pandemics differently without compromising public health? Why? Vance's stance on COVID-19 policies could be seen as dangerous to public health by some voters. 9. Support for Trump's policies. You've closely aligned yourself with Donald Trump. How do you reconcile your support for Trump, given his legal issues and controversies, with your vision for America's future? Why? Vance's close association with Trump may alienate voters uncomfortable with the former president's legal and ethical challenges. 10. Bipartisanship and national unity. Given your often divisive rhetoric, how would you foster bipartisanship and unite a divided nation? Why? Voters are increasingly concerned with political division, and Vance's often combative style could be a liability in fostering unity. This updated list addresses the baseless claims, Vance's personal controversies, and policy positions, ensuring a challenging but fair debate for the candidate.